I'm an Englishman. I'm a PC gamer. Pretty much exclusively a PC gamer. And these are my top 5 games of 2015. Number 5. Satellite Rain. So, Satellite Rain started off life as an early access game. It's, I believe, got a lot of developers from the original Syndicate and definitely Syndicate Wars, which was, back in the day, an isometric game from Bullfrog, and was quite revolutionary at the time, considering you had a group of 4 soldiers, cyborgs, and you could kidnap civilians, kill police, get in a car, drive around, and of course there was complete mission objectives. Nothing's ever really come about it since. EA tried to revive the series with an FPS, which didn't really hit the mark. So when this came on early access, I was very interested in it, because at its core, it's Syndicate in a modern age. You've still got your team of 4 soldiers, you've still got objectives, and it's just how you go about doing these objectives in this dystopian, Blade Runner-esque world. It's managed to keep everything sensible without being too cheesy. There's a lot of freedom in the objectives. It is literally just said, right, you've got to go and rob this bank. It's up to you how you take this bank. You can just go in guns blazing like Bonnie and Clyde, try and get the cash out, get out with all your soldiers as quickly as you can. Or you can do about it in a bit more of a stealthy approach. Take your sniper in to keep your guards, keep an overwatch guard of your group as you're going in to rob the bank. That of course comes with its own decisions and consequences, and they've really have taken the idea of Syndicate and expanded upon it, made the world living. Everything is going on. It's you've got various factions across the city and civilians who can just wander in, and without you doing anything, there's a gunfight. You can take advantage of that if you're just passing by, quickly sneak in and nick some money or something like that. It's a great little bit of freedom, and I'm really glad to see a game like that back on the market, and hopefully it's going to get some expansion, it's going to get some DLC love, because there is lots of game there to play. I just want more. Number 4, Batman Arkham Knight. This is quite a controversial one, I'm afraid. On release, it didn't perform very well on many people's machines, shall we say. But I'm going to try and take the tech side away from it as much as can, and just concentrate on the gameplay aspect. As part of the series, it's sad to see it's Batman coming to an end, and that's always sad to see. The game really brought about a successful comic book translation. You feel like you are Batman. You feel like you're watching over Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, and then over a chunk of Gotham. They've teased various vehicles throughout the series. Like the very first game, they had the Batmobile there, and a good excuse to not use it. It just got smashed up. Fair enough. And I believe it was Arkham Origins, they introduced the Batwing so you could get around. This one, they've introduced the Batmobile as a fully controllable vehicle, and I don't think that's been done since possibly Batman Returns on the Super Nintendo, which was also a pretty good game. They may rely slightly too much on the Batmobile as this new crux. It is this new gameplay, it's the new element, and let's just shove this in your face, let's make boss fights this. It worked, it was good, it was fun. Could have done with a bit more thought, considering how complex Rocksteady usually make their games. I'd recommend it, because if you haven't played any of the other Batman games, you've got nothing to stop you just going into this. You know who Batman is. There's a huge chunk of game to play there. The story is really compelling. If you're a comic book fan, you know pretty much what's going to go down, but it's still cool actually being Batman in that situation and dealing with these things yourself. It's a good fun game. It looks really good. It really does look good. And I hope that Rocksteady do something else expanding on this same sort of universe. Would you like a cup of tea?
Number 3. Galactic Civilizations 3.
Oh, Galactic Civ 3. That was brilliant little charm. It saw that on early access, and the very first iteration to get into the alpha was just out of my price range, I thought. So I got in on the beta, and I've been watching it come along. It's Galactic Civilization 2. It's not got it is fully 64-bit aware. It's got Steam Workshop going on it. If you're a fan of Galactic Civ 1 and Galactic Civ 2, you pretty much know what you're going to get when you're going in. There's not much in the way of surprises, which some people aren't going to like because it doesn't show the series evolving much, but at the same time, it's a good game. It's a massive game at that. You can have these maps that are tremendous. The aspect of being able to design an entire ship that your civilization will use right from scratch, deciding weaponry, putting the weaponry on the size, it's brilliant. And the Steam Workshop integration is an absolute godsend. If you are lazy and you just want something that looks cool, or you want a quick and dirty easy mod, one click away, that's how much more convenient do you want for a 4X game. You can still colonize planets, achieve victory through dominating the map, achieve victory through diplomatic ways, research, and just transcendence. I couldn't say much more about it. It's as it is, it's a good game to buy now. They've got expansions on the way, and these expansions will also just make an already huge and deep game complete.
Number 2. Beyond Earth, Rising Tide.
So, Rising Tide is the first and latest expansion to Sid Meier's Beyond Earth. A lot of people criticised Beyond Earth on launch for being, at its core, essentially a reskin of Civ 5. And yeah, at its launch it pretty much was. But that's true in a sense of all the Civ games. On their first release, they're just what the last one was, but then they get fleshed out with these expansions. Rising Tide has introduced various new mechanics to actually make it a bit more unique. It's worth getting. If I have to tell you about Rising Tide, you're probably already thinking about it. It's definitely worth getting because it makes covert operations something a little bit better than just a simple roll of the dice. It's a bit more gamey. The big mechanic in it is having cities on seas, and I absolutely hated having this massive land coast. My cities completely covered the entire continent just for someone to get on an island right outside, and he had his little patch of his territory right in there. Now with that, you can complete that, you can completely close off your land, and you feel like you are making a futuristic humanity civilization. It's getting there, and if you like Civilization, you will like the expansion. Oh, perhaps you'd like me to get out the spotted dick while you're here? We can have it over tea and crumpets, and then we can talk about the cricket scores if you so wish.
Number 1. Witcher the Third.
So, The Witcher 3, I bought that on a whim. I just wanted a new game. I tried Witcher 2, I managed to get through it, but that was difficult. It didn't pull me in like other people have been brought into the story. Witcher 3 came out and I just thought, I'll give it a bash. And I actually really got into the story. And that doesn't happen often with me. I was quite involved with this. In fact, as of the time of recording, I have still chosen not to complete it because there is just so much game there. I've spent about 100 plus hours just doing these side quests. And these aren't side quests like you would expect in something like Oblivion or Skyrim. These are like a main quest line, handwritten from start to finish, as I understand. They really wanted to show off what they can do with their new engine, and it's amazing. Compare it to something like Dragon Age Inquisition. Dragon Age Inquisition felt more like your traditional roleplay game of rolling a dice and things like that, but mixed with an MMO element. Witcher 3 felt like you were a character in a massive world, and there was just so much to do aside from quests. I would log in quite often just to play a few rounds of Gwent. I think they missed a bit of a treat just making a separate app for Gwent. That would have been brilliant. They still haven't even brought out the large, to call it a DLC, I think does it a bit of injustice, because it is an expansion. It's doubling the main questline size in estimate. That's still got to come out, and that's going to be good. I mean, it's just the amount of detail they've already got there. It's going to be hard to say goodbye to Geralt. And despite what everyone else says, Yennefer is the right choice. Oh good, the Queen will be pleased with me.
Honorable mentions go out to City Skylines and Transformers Devastation.
So, City Skylines was born from the, how to put it delicately, Sim City of recent years. This is the city builder for PC users of the modern day. It is massive. It is a full simulation. It is a proper city builder. We haven't had one of these for quite some time that wasn't a bit cartoony or just wasn't a disguised spreadsheet. This is a full simulation, and there is one expansion out adding a day and night cycle. There is more to come, and yeah, Steam Workshop integration for once in a city builder is an absolute godsend, because if you want to have a stylized city, which a lot of people like to roleplay or even just mimic their own city from home, something like Steam Workshop really is a godsend. If you like something that is in-depth, something that you actually thought, oh, I was doing this in SimCity, but it just turned out to be a spreadsheet, City Skylines is where it's at. Transformers Devastation, I'm probably quite biased on this because this was the game I wanted since I was about 3. I am a big transforming red robot, and I get to run around punching Megatron in the face whilst calling him a Decepticreep. If that hasn't sold you on this game, what is wrong with you? Where is your soul? The only downside to this game, the literally only downside is it's a little on the small side for the price tag. If you were a kid and you love G1, you will not regret this. This is pretty corny, this is pretty good fun, and you get to punch Decepticreeps. And you can transform into a massive, flame-wielding Tyrannosaurus Rex that can charge in front of its enemy and headbutt it to death.
The most anticipated game of 2016, XCOM 2.
I have played every single XCOM, UFO, Terror from the Deep, XCOM Apocalypse, Interceptor, Enemy Unknown Again, and I love them. The closest you've got is Xenonauts, which is a really good game, but XCOM 2 looks like it's going to be a bit more gritty, a lot more involved, and overall for me a bigger game. They are developing it as a PC first game, so hopefully that means we're going to get something that takes advantage of the hardware, something easily modifiable. I believe they've said Steam Workshop integration is going to come in, which modders out there will be pleased, because anyone out there who was really serious about XCOM downloaded Long War and played that over and over. And I'm hoping something a bit more dangerous, something a bit tougher, something that's going to make us say, okay, yeah, I'm going to need to rethink my strategies on this. And it looks crisp, it looks quick, clean and crisp. Firaxis don't really let us down. They might strip down a few things, they might say one thing and deliver on the other thing, but there's always a good reason for it. And this time I think with PC coming first, they are definitely dedicating themselves to expanding the gameplay, expanding the mechanics, and delivering a much bigger game and a more, hopefully scary, deeper experience. Jolly good. God save Liz. Can I have a knighthood now?